Everybody, welcome back to Do I Look Sick with Mia and Jennifer.
Hello,
Um,
everyone. How are you doing tonight?
I'm glad you guys could join us. We have a very interesting and motivating show for you guys tonight. We titled it "Get Fit with It." I know you guys used to hearing it, "Get thick with it," but we're gonna get fit with it today. And we have our guest host, Candyce Heather, who is not only a warrior, but she is a wellness coach, a fitness coach. And she's going to talk to us about some things that we need to know, not only as people living with sickle cell, but just overall health, period. And she's going to show us a few moves to get us started. So, Candyce, how are you today?
Hi, it's so great to be here with you all. And I'm so honored that you all have me on your show. I'm great. I'm doing great. You know, any day that I get to wake up is a day that I'm blessed and grateful for. So,
Awesome. Awesome. So,
I have to say, I'm sorry, Mia,
go
but
ahead.
you just are the embodiment of our show title.
Yes.
You look amazing, and I just want to say that so everyone can hear me.
Right.
thank
She
you.
does. So Candace, let's first talk about just a little bit about you, how you got into fitness, your journey with sickle cell and with fitness, and how you meshed those two together.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I am Candice Heather. I'll officially introduce myself to the audience. I'm CEO and founder of Candice Heather Wellness, and my mission is to really empower people uh, to really become the best version of themselves. And the way that I do that is helping people get fit physically, mentally, spiritually. And I was actually diagnosed shortly after birth with sickle cell SC disease, and that's a whole whole nother subject on how that unfolded. um, but it was my driving force in my 20s, to really learn how to live my life powerfully and not just survive every day, but to begin to thrive every day. um, my background is as a professional dancer. So I danced professionally for over a decade. Got an opportunity to tour the world with recording artists, but was really not taking care of my body.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like me over here, and then oh, I have this disease. Like I, not that I denied it, but I didn't embrace it. And that was really how I got my journey started in health and wellness field. Is I wanted to learn how to thrive. I wanted to learn how to feel great from the inside out, not just look great when I put makeup on and perform, but to really feel amazing. And so I enrolled myself in a couple different courses and became a certified holistic health coach and a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And then I got my cert as a holistic health coach through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. Try to say that 10 times fast. Uh, and I really went to work on becoming my first client. That was it. I wasn't concerned with creating a business or really at the time on how I could help other people. I really wanted to learn how to take my life to the next level, and start to embrace my disease rather than act like it wasn't there because it was very much present. So that's how I got my journey, and through my obstacles and trials and tribulations, learning how to live day to day and thrive and not just survive day to day with sickle cell. I was able to create a method that works, and I'm able to help people that have chronic illnesses, that don't have chronic illnesses. And it's been truly a blessing to wake up every day and do something that I love and serve people and help people really become the best version of themselves.
Yes. Because we,
It's funny that you said that because in my 20s, I think I was doing the same thing, living on my own, trying to hang out and do that type of thing and not really taking care of my body, hanging out with people who really didn't understand my disease. And I don't think I really had a real grasp on it at the time either. I just wanted to be normal. I wanted to hang out and party and, go to the clubs and go have the parties and all that kind of stuff. Living in Atlanta in Buckhead at 17, that was like parties central. So it's funny that you say that. I wonder if everyone kind of goes through that phase in their 20s where they're like, this disease doesn't exist. I'm just going to be out here living recklessly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of for me, it was a huge perspective shift, right?
Yeah.
It was really, it was you can YOLO, right? You only live once, and
Right.
and not do anything to help move your life forward, or you can say, I only live once, so I'm gonna value my life.
Yeah.
And it came down to that decision of like, okay, I'm gonna value my life, not just throw it away.
Right. And I know for me, even though it might not have necessarily been clubs and things like that in my 20s, we've talked about on the show before how heavy I was, how overweight I was. You know, I was consumed by food. That was my drug. So, you know, I've also had to have my issues with being overweight and living with sickle cell and living with other issues to kind of shift my perspective in, okay, we got to get some type of control over this because if not, it's going to take me out and I still got a lot
Right.
of living to do. So it's always something, unfortunately, like just severe that kind of kicks us into high gear and like, hey, you need to get it together. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Candice, do you find, you said that you work with people with chronic diseases and people who don't have chronic illnesses. Do you find one more rewarding than the other, or you just love helping people in general?
I love helping people that are hungry, right? So to me, the most rewarding place that I could be to help a client is someone that's hungry and that wants to create results. That whether you have an illness or don't have an illness, but really someone that is willing to fight for it. Willing to fight to get better results. Really willing to fight and do the work to become their best selves. And I think, the journey of becoming your best self and becoming fit, it's really a mental journey, right? It's because the 6 inches in between our ears are what really steers our life. And so when you have that mindset of being hungry, regardless of whether you have a disability or illness or not, I think that's the most beautiful person to pour into, because they're going to receive it, they're going to take it, they're going to apply it and do something with the information and the support that you give them.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the fact that you use the word hungry because you have to be hungry in order to make change, just overall.
Yeah, that's true.
And we often talk about comprehensive care, mind, body, and soul, because just health in general, aside from having a chronic illness, it's important to take care of all three: mind, body, and soul. And we lose sight of the connection between the three. You can't feed your body bad stuff and expect it to have a good output. You know, you have to be mindful of what you're doing and what you're feeding your body, and not just from food, but also the things
What you're pouring into your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
What you're letting into your spirit.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And that's a major foundation of the work that I do with my clients, because, and you ladies both hit the nail on the head, your input is everything, right? Your input equals your output. And a lot of people don't realize what they're putting in their mind. And for me, my personal journey, it's come down to like being very, very intentional about what I say.
I did.
It comes down to being very intentional about what I say, the music I listen to, the programming I watch on TV. Like it comes, and we don't realize the messaging that we're getting all day, every day. And when you really can capture your input and really make sure that it's in alignment with your values, your goals, and where you want to be in your life, like that's the foundation of it all.
Right.
Because my method really talks about two different types of food, primary food and secondary food. And I believe your primary food affects what actually you put on your plate, which is your secondary food. And your primary food is your relationships, your spirituality, how much you're moving your body, what's happening in your career, your mindset. Those things all really affect what we eat,
Yeah.
what we actually put inside our bodies.
Yeah. A few tricks I've learned myself is never to go to the grocery store hungry. Because that
Yeah,
will buy
that's
up the
number
house
one because you end up buying so much junk.
that you don't need, and more
Right.
than likely that's not good for you. Um, so I've learned little life hacks as I've gone on this journey. What can you say is maybe your top two life hacks to keep you on track with your eating, with your what you're consuming mentally, and your exercise?
Absolutely. Well, I love that hack, and I definitely have been guilty of going to the grocery store hungry, and it was not pretty. So, but I think really what it comes down to, and something that I've learned and I've implemented with a lot of my clients is having systems in place.
Yeah.
When you have systems in place that support and are in alignment with your goals and where you're going, it makes your life, it brings freedom, right? It brings ease. So I think that's the biggest life hack is setting systems in place. There's an amazing book that I read, and I've read it twice and listened to it a couple of times. It's called Atomic Habits. And the author, James Clear, says that we very rarely rise to the level of our goals, but we will always fall to the level of our systems. So some of the systems that I teach my clients and specifically with nutrition is tracking. There's free apps out there. My Fitness Pal is one of them, but tracking and doing it consistently so that you have an awareness of what you're putting in your body and if it's and what it's doing to you, right? I mean, we can feel it, but sometimes we're not aware of, oh, well, I ate 3 bags of potato chips today and that was it. But if you're tracking everything, you start to have some accountability around what you're actually putting in your body, tracking your water. If you're someone that knows you need to drink a lot of water, but you don't, start to track it, or, even getting a water bottle that has, a time stamp on it to keep you accountable for getting through it throughout the day. Set a little reward system, right? So if I get through my water throughout the day, and I can have a little snack, really making things enticing so that you accomplish the goal, right? Because we want to do things with ease. Our minds are programmed to work with ease. So if we make something outside of our reach, and we make a habit hard to attain, it's less likely that we'll actually be successful in doing it. So having ease, right? Making things accessible. If you're having challenges with, snacking or eating things that are, are not really healthy for you, and I'm gonna just put it out there, anything that's in a crunchy type of bag is probably not good for you, right? Anything that's highly processed, that you could purchase on the shelf, you want to keep those things to a minimum, a minimum, bare minimum in your diet. But if you are challenged, don't bring it in the house. That's a huge hack. Like, just don't have it available. Because if you make things harder to access, then you probably won't, reach for the bad stuff. In terms of working out, a hack with that is, again, accountability. So, plan your workouts. I'll show you all my life here. This is my planner, and everything that I do is all planned out. Like, everything. It's color coded. My entire life is planned because I want to be intentional with my time, right? So if you just wake up and you say, all right, I'm going to work out today, but you don't know what you're going to do, where you're going to do it, how long you're going to do it for, what you're going to wear, it's less likely that you'll actually get it done. So, really being intentional with your time and having a plan. And that can be simple as saying to yourself, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to go for a walk around the block. Boom. Start somewhere, start small. I think a lot of times people get on their health and wellness journey and they don't start with the end in mind, right? So you have to start with the outcome in mind. Where do you want to end up, and reverse engineer your goal. And start small. Consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency. There's a saying that cons- intensity does not beat consistency. And it's so true. You know, if you work out really, really hard, especially if you have a chronic illness, if you work out really, really hard one day, then you can't move for the next 3 days. That's not going to help you. But if you chunk it down and commit to 20 minutes of movement every day, or even 10 minutes of movement every day, that consistency is going to compound in your favor to get you closer to the result that you want. So that was a lot.
It's okay.
Hopefully the listeners are taking notes. But those are some hacks that have really helped myself and my clients really move in the direction of attaining their goals.
Yeah.
I like that you said about planning out, because I'm guilty of not planning things out, like when I want to say, go to the gym or things like that, and then it comes and I'm like, oh man, I didn't do this today, but I didn't see the whole goal through. And Mia and I were talking today about how we have to kind of gauge our energy, plug ourselves up so that we can do certain things. So if I incorporate what you just said into my lifestyle, then when I'm planning out my day of my rest, I can also plan out the time of my movement. So I think that's a really good thing that you said, and something that I can take away from this moment. Because, well, I don't usually tell all my business on this show, but I'll say it right now. On Friday, I'm having heart surgery. So I haven't been able to work out and do a lot of the things that I like to do. And I know that once I'm done with that, I'm going to want to do those things again. So that's just something I can, kind of put in my mind to have with me when I come out of this.
Yeah. And start small, right? I think a lot of times, especially I speak to sickle cell warriors specifically, we come out of the hospital, right? Maybe we have crisis or we have surgery. We come out of the hospital and it's kind of like we're starting from ground zero, right? We need to detox, we need to cleanse, we need to, find our appetite again and start putting foods in our body that are good for us. And then, I need to move my body. There's a lot, right? I need to start drinking water again. Start small. Set 2 to 3 goals a day that in alignment with, where you want to go with your health and wellness, and that are non-negotiable. Like, I need to drink, half my body weight in water today. I need to move for 10 minutes. I need to say affirmations, right? Those are 3 things you can do every single day to move you forward, and keep it small so that it doesn't become a big overwhelming thing, So I hope you have an amazing surgery. I'm sending you so much love.
Thank you so much. I really believe it's going to be wonderful, and I can't wait to see the end results. I'm mentally prepared. So
yeah. Any life event like that, you have to start here, right? You have to have an expectation of a positive outcome. And that's with anything we do. And that's another topic, but high expectancy. I think a lot of times, especially when we have a chronic illness, we can have a very negative, self-destructive expectancy. Like, I expect to get sick. I expect if it's too hot, my body's not going to cooperate, or if it's too cold, we expect. And there may be some facts from our past that have proven those things right. But what do you want, right? It's really about what you want, and telling your mind what you want, so that you can start to will it into your existence, right? Having a positive, high expectancy is really, really important.
And you have to surround yourself with people who think positively also. Me as my best friend, and we pour into each other. And when I see that she's doing something wonderful, I want to be like, hey, great job, And when other people look at me, I want them to see me, doing the best that I can, and just having a positive mental attitude, just because it takes you so far. And I like the fact that you commented on that.
Yeah. I think a big thing too that I realize is, yes, your association is super powerful, and who you surround yourself is super powerful. One of the things we don't realize is that we are part of that association. Mm-hmm. So if our self-talk is negative, mm-hmm. but we're surrounding ourselves with positive people, it's you know, we're kind of doing ourselves a disservice, right? So be one of those people that you want to surround yourself with. You know, really be positive and loving to yourself, because we can be our worst critics sometimes.
Yeah, and I know I can be hard on myself at times too, especially when it comes to losing weight. And it's so funny to hear people talk about they struggle with gaining weight, where I'm the opposite. I feel like I can just look at a piece of cake and gain weight. So it's like I have my moments where, like for my birthday, I indulged, and you know, I still am aware of, okay, I need to go balance it out a little bit, go back to the gym, get back in the habit of doing those things, because maybe I did a little too much indulging. But you know, it's being mindful, like you said, tracking your food, which really helps me, and being intentional about how you want to set your days, and setting your goals, period, just being intentional about that. So I think that's really a great tip, and for people to really get that. Tracking can be tedious, but it's super helpful.
It is, you know.
I think you have to show yourself grace, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have grace with yourself. But when you're doing anything new or reprogramming an old behavior, you have to have grace with yourself. It's not about, you know, perfection. It's really about progression. But a huge, this just light bulb just came to me, a huge hack. And it's because you spoke something over yourself, but a huge hack that I've learned is not to speak anything negative, or not even negative, not to speak anything that I don't want to become my reality over myself. So you said something like, I struggle with, you know, how I eat, I struggle with blah, blah, blah. Let it go, right? How can you transform that statement, right? And what is the reality that you want to step into? And that's one of the things that I'm working on, and really working with my clients really closely on, is what we speak over ourselves, you know, because we are our worst critics. And, you know, if you're on a weight loss journey, it's, you know, it's not, I struggle with weight loss, you know, it's, I love my body exactly where I am, and I'm working towards my goals every day. You know, like really changing the language and what you speak over yourself, because there's a powerful book called Hung by the Tongue, and another book called And Thinketh, and it's all about our words and our thoughts and how they become our reality. And I think a lot of times we don't even realize what we say and what we're speaking of ourselves, but really taking ownership and capturing it and making sure we're speaking what we want to actually become our reality over ourselves is super important.
Right. It
biggest hack I've learned.
Say that again. Say that again.
She says the biggest hack she's got.
Yeah, biggest life hack right there.
I can believe it. I can absolutely believe it, because we do tend to criticize ourselves a lot and just hear that negative self-talk. So I completely agree with you, and just speaking life into yourself. Even if, you know, you just stand in the mirror and just say some affirmations or record yourself, I think it resonates better when you hear yourself say it, or when you see yourself say those things. So it just seeps in a little bit more.
And having belief behind it, right? Like not just saying like, you know, I'm amazing, I'm beautiful, but like really believing it and having some conviction around it. And I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm abundant. You know, imagine what life would be like if we only spoke what we wanted to happen over ourselves. You know, like life would be so different.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. So now, do you eat only alkaline foods? What's your belief on strictly alkaline? Can you be too alkaline? Like, how's your food intake?
So I'm mostly alkaline, and I don't believe in being going extreme one way or the other, unless it's like a chronic, like we need to change something really fast in this moment, else you're gonna be in trouble type of situation. And the reason why I think, when we deprive ourselves or put ourselves in boxes, it makes it harder to create a lifestyle change. So I do believe in my method, I preach it, is mostly alkaline. Because, just coming down to the black and white of it, your body is going to perform more optimally when it's in an alkaline state. When it's in an acidic state, it's just not going to perform for you. So that's my belief. I take my clients where they are, as they are. You don't have to be all alkaline or vegan, or I let people really discover for themselves by swapping things out how their body feels. You can't deny the difference you feel, when you start to make certain changes to your diet and start to put different things in your body. You can't deny, that there's a difference when you're being optimal for your health.
Yeah. I definitely feel a difference when I'm like really consistent with the workouts and eating versus when I have not so great moments, but I definitely can tell a difference, and it's a reminder for me, okay, maybe you've been doing such and such, let's try the carrots, or let's try this, or let's try that this time. So yeah, that's really helpful. So take us through like a day, what a normal day looks like for you. Like how do you balance your meal prep and what you're eating with your work and with your exercise routines? Do you do something like every day of the week, only 3 times a week, or what does your day look like?
Well, great question. So my goal is to move my body 6 days a week.
Okay.
And right now I get up, it depends on the day of the week. Sometimes I have really early morning clients. But I make sure I take hot yoga. So I've gotten back, now that things have opened up in the world in Los Angeles County. I've gotten back to hot yoga, which, as a warrior, I mean, when I really stop and get really grounded in gratitude about how my body is able to perform for me in a 104-degree room 5 times a week, it's beautiful. It's something that I'm so grateful for, because I love my yoga practice and I won't do it if it's not hot.
Really?
I just won't. I'm like, if it's just yoga in my house or yoga with no heat, I won't do it. So it really, for me, the hot yoga has become more of a mental journey than anything. So hot yoga. In terms of, and then I have clients and admin stuff I'm doing. I run 2 businesses and train clients. So there's lots of time throughout the day where I'm just giving. And how I refuel myself is, listening to positive audios, reading. So some of my non-negotiables in the morning before I serve people is I have to listen to a positive audio. I have to do meditation for at least 5 to 10 minutes. And it's a moving meditation. I'm not good with sitting still and just, unless it's at the end of yoga class. So I commit to, putting in my earphones and doing my meditation as I'm getting ready for the day. Affirmations are so when I first wake up and the first time I open my eyes, the first thing I say is I am grateful, thankful, and blessed to be alive. And then I have an affirmation app on my phone that I highly recommend. Here's another hack. Okay. It's called I Am. Make sure you download it. Okay. They have a free version. But I get affirmations all throughout the day, notifications on my phone. But I take some time to just look myself in the mirror and say, I love you. And I set my intention for the day. We're going to have an amazing day. We're going to add value to people's lives today. These are things that I actually tell myself in the mirror. And then it's yoga or a client. And throughout the day, I cook. So here's for being transparent, right? On the show, we're very transparent. I don't like cooking.
Okay.
I don't like cooking.
Okay.
I'm a very, once I find something I like to eat, I stick with it. So I've been on a Beyond Burger extravaganza. It's simple for me. It's easy. So I do Beyond Burgers and mushrooms. I take my greens in liquid form. So I don't have to stand there and do greens. I don't like salads. Look, here, y'all getting all the transparency. I am the fitness coach that doesn't like to eat salad. But I know how important it is to get my greens in, so I do it through liquid form. I love making smoothies, so I have like my favorite smoothie that I make post yoga or post workout, and throughout the day I'm also communicating with my mentors all day long because life is happening and they keep me grounded. That's having that support system, especially if you're constantly giving, is really, really important to have a system that you can plug into or people you can plug into to help refuel you. And on Sundays I box. That's like my gift to myself, for just getting through the week. And then in the evening, I really believe that having a strong AM routine and PM routine are super important, so that you're winning the day. I believe in making sure that you go 1-0 every day, so that you're running the day and the day doesn't run you. So my PM routine consists of writing in my gratitude journal, doing some more affirmations, and I listen to a meditation and go to sleep.
Nice.
That sounds really amazing. I need to get myself in gear because you are running circles around me, girl.
And it's about intentionality. I've learned how to streamline and be very intentional with my time because we get this one life, and every morning that we get up, we're blessed to go do something great with our life, right? And if we're just kind of aimlessly trying to get through the day without intentionality, then there's 24 hours that
we just kind of wasted.
Yeah.
So you said that now, since everything is open back up, so when everything was closed, what was your how did that affect you?
Yeah.
Your routine changed a lot?
Yeah, great question. So a huge pivot happened for me. I used to train and teach group fitness at a gym, a luxury gym. And I literally, during the pandemic, right before the pandemic and everything shut down, I met my mentors, and they just opened my eyes to business ownership. So I really took it as an opportunity to stop, rest, and get off of autopilot, because I was literally running on autopilot. And I pivoted to really look at my values and what's my legacy, what do I want to leave, what's the mark I want to leave on the world. So I put a lot of time, energy, and effort into building platforms that will help empower people to really live their best life. And I started to go to work on myself to practice what I was preaching. And so that looked like a lot of time behind a computer. And really trying to figure out how to best show up and serve people. And because of that, I feel like a lot of people went through this. I neglected my body and my self-care because it was okay, I got to get this done. I got to figure out how to show up and serve people. And then I looked up, and 15 pounds later, I was like, oh, girlfriend, you need to move your body. And that in the last couple of months, it's been really the spark for me is, in order to show up and empower people how to live their life powerfully, I have to show up and do it for myself.
Yeah.
And workouts here looked different when things were closed. I have my whole setup here, so they range from doing all types of HIIT workouts and this kind of thing and that kind of thing. But I when I was moving, I just made sure I got up and did something. I just made sure I got up and did something to make myself look good, whether it was dancing or putting some booty bands on and doing a lower body workout. But I made sure I did something until I kind of hit a wall. I had a surgery and I couldn't move for three months. I wasn't allowed to exercise for 3 months, and that was when I was like, okay, all right. After that 3 months, it was like, this doesn't feel good.
No.
This can become a habit and I can keep going, or I can really pick myself up and start to care for myself. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead. Jennifer can talk to you while we get ready to get into the workout part of this
okay.
show.
I want to, you keep saying affirmations, and that's something that like I recently started doing with myself, like within the past 6 months or so. And I didn't realize like how powerful that is. You know, I want to think that I'm a positive person, and I have a good spirit and people see that in me. But like just every day saying like I am enough or whatever it is, I just didn't realize like how important that could be. So like the fact that you've mentioned it so many times and you mentioned the app, I'm definitely going to download that, because I'm always like, what more can I pour into myself? Because I do want to be like walking positivity, not necessarily for anyone else, but for myself, because these past, I guess, 2 years have been like really a struggle for me, like with my health and trying to figure out, like now we figured out that I need this heart surgery, but figuring out what the issue was. And it's just been like such a toll on me. I had to keep pouring into myself. Otherwise, I would, I don't know, like probably it would have overwhelmed what I was going through. So, like my family is like, oh, you know what? I'm so proud of you. I look at you and I'm like, wow, you've gone through this and you're still smiling. You're still like walking around with a positive attitude. My last hospital stay was traumatic. And, I still have my friends pouring into me, and, I had a couple of hiccups and things like that, but I still was able to maintain my mental health. Like that's so important. Yeah. And I think that the affirmations help me with my goal of maintaining good mental health. Like it's just so important.
Yeah, it is. It's everything, what's happening between the 6 inches of our ears is going to guide really the results that we get in our life. And what we speak over ourselves becomes our reality, and a lot of times there's circumstances that are out of our control, right? We can't always control our circumstances, but the one thing that we always have control over is our perspective. And our perspective comes from our thoughts and what we're thinking and what we're speaking over ourselves. And there's 4 affirmations that have been really pivotal in kind of anchoring me. And one is I am safe, I am secure, I am enough, there is enough. And those 4 affirmations have been really pivotal in terms of, really breaking down a lot of the stuff that was going on and transforming it for me in a place where I can move my life forward. I am worthy is another affirmation that has been super pivotal, but, really allowing yourself to speak only what you want over your life is super powerful, because there's things that we can't control, right? Like, look, we've been in a pandemic for a year and a half.
Right.
And there's, things happening, in our communities that we can't control, but we can always control our outlook. We can always control our perspective.
Yeah, I think, when we look at people like yourself who are into fitness and we see them and we follow them on social media and all that kind of stuff, like some people negate the mental part. And I think the fact that you highlight that is just so amazing and refreshing, because it's more than just like what you look like,
Yeah. Because what you look like is a product of how you think of yourself.
Yeah.
And that's from the inside out. It's literally the outward appearance of what's going on in here. How you carry yourself, how you speak, what you put on your body, what you put on your plate, is really a reflection of what's happening in your mind. And it's so important It's so much bigger than squats and lunges and, you know, flat abs and tiny waist, and it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah. And you know, like there's other people who I follow, like when I want to do little workouts and things like that. And I'm always like, you know, make sure if I can't do it right, you know, just make sure I'm still moving.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm like, kind of nitpick at myself. And then I'm like, no, don't do that.
Right.
Get your mind together. You'll get it, you know?
Yeah. The biggest thing when you find yourself going down a space that's negative or speaking something over your life that you don't want to become your reality, the biggest thing that can bring you back and ground you is gratitude. Like I do it all day long. Like if I'm going down a headspace that's negative, or I may have said something negative, right away, I'll rattle off 5 things that I'm grateful for. Or if I'm feeling like funky or I'm in a funk, I start gratitude list. What can I be grateful for right here, right now? What am I grateful for? And really grounding yourself in gratitude allows you to have abundance in your life, you know, really allows you to thrive. Gratitude, there's a saying, a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles, and it really is.
So is that the kind of stuff that you like keep in your gratitude journal? Like what kind of things do you put in there?
So I actually just purchased a journal, and it has a morning and an evening section, and it goes through just kind of like what's your intent, setting an intention for the day, setting an affirmation to guide you for the day, and then what are you grateful for? And I always like to rattle off, you know, at least 10 things that I'm grateful for. And when you really think about it and look around, there's a plethora of things to be grateful for. And then the evening portion really is more of a reflection, right? I really, really feel that, you know, we have to learn and then apply, but we have to reflect, right? If we don't reflect on how our day went, or take those moments to give yourself praise for what you did accomplish, right? Because it's so easy to go, oh, I didn't work out for the full 30 minutes. But what if you turn that around and went, wow, I killed that 5-minute workout? You know, yeah. I gave the best 5 minutes to that workout, and tomorrow I'm gonna do 10 minutes, you know? So it helps me go through the day of, you know, how I was feeling, and it allows me to reflect, and then set affirmations for the evening as well, and what I want to affirm going to sleep. One of the biggest, you know, I have life hacks in my head now because Mia was talking about it. One of the biggest hacks to your routine is making sure you're not going to sleep with the TV on.
Because guilty. I'm so guilty.
Your subconscious mind is picking all of that up. It's picking everything up. And I would even take it so far as, if you really want to, you know, make sure you set yourself up powerfully for the next day, power down your devices an hour, at least 30 minutes to an hour before you go to sleep. No Instagram, no Facebook, social media, just power it off, you know, because, you know, that's input. So that's another part of checking your input, because once your head hits that pillow, you know, that stuff stays in your head. So what are you listening to, you know, as you go to sleep? You know, if you deal with insomnia, which I've dealt with insomnia for a very, very long time, until I discovered an amazing brand of vitamins and supplements that have helped me. And now I can power my brain down with the help of the vitamins and supplements, with the help of like only putting what I want in my brain, my messaging at night, you know. And part of insomnia is like, all right, mindless scrolling and mindless surfing, and it's just not intentional, right? That rest is so important for our body's recovery. So really making sure you have a great night routine is important too.
That's a good another life hack. I'm kind of like putting them all in my head for later. And I think Mia is ready.
Awesome. I'm gonna move my setup now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Yeah, those were some really good nuggets, Candice. I'm gonna go home and get on it like when I leave here.
ASAPly.
ASAPly. Because those are really good. Um, and one of the things is consistency, which you spoke about earlier. Is that's I feel like that's the key to everything on task as far as eating right, as far as getting your mind right, getting your body right, the exercise. That's like the number one thing is to stay consistent. So
So, in the whole thing about not liking salads, like I love salads, but I know a lot of grown up people who don't like salads and maybe never even thought about taking them, in liquid form.
right,
And they just use the fact that they don't like them as an excuse as to why, they don't eat them.
right.
Okay, I have to correct that statement. So I like salad. I don't like preparing salad.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
One of my hacks with that is I found a company called Thistle. They're amazing, and they deliver to your home, and they have really all organic, healthy salads. So I'll eat their salads.
Nice.
I just don't like preparing salads, and it's not.
Is it all the chopping?
It's the chopping, and then you gotta chew. You gotta like sit there, chew your salad,
Yeah.
in order for you to get the full benefits of it. So salads are good for you. Greens are good for you. You don't. It doesn't have to come in salad form, but get your greens in. That's the point.
Yeah. I mean, if that's all I eat sometimes,
Yeah.
like if I don't eat anything else, I'll eat a salad.
Nice. All right. We're ready. I'm following you, Candice.
All right. So I'm gonna set a timer. How much time do I have with you?
About 15 minutes.
Okay. Um, so the journey of moving, right? If you are dealing with a chronic illness, can be or not, right? It's all about what we speak over our lives, and we're gonna go through just some foundational movements on how to get connected to your muscles, because and you mentioned this earlier, we live in a time where you're flooded with different things on social media on do this workout, do that workout, but you can land yourself in a very bad position physically if you don't know how to properly fire your muscles, or how to properly modify for your body. One of the things that is super important when you are dealing with a chronic illness is taking breaks, knowing how to reduce your intensity, knowing how to modify things. So we're going to start on the ground.
Okay.
And I see you, so I'm going to just trust that you are following all my cues.
Okay.
We're going to start on your back. And so this exercise is called a dead bug. This is one of my favorite exercises to do for core activation, because a lot of times you just are not connected, right? So this is going to get you really connected to your core. All my clients say this is the most deceiving exercise because it looks really easy, but you will feel it.
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay.
We're also going to do some diaphragmatic breathing before we start. Sending oxygen to your muscles is super important, especially if you're living with sickle cell disease. So we're going to take a slight tip of your tailbone under. So you want your tailbone to be facing up towards the sky. Bring your right hand on your heart and then your left hand on your belly. So we're going to get connected to your breath so that we're using your breath as a tool as we move. You can close your eyes if you like, but I want you to breathe in through your nose. And as you breathe in through your nose, you're going to expand your belly and press into the hand that's on your belly. And then as you exhale out, you're going to make an HA sound. So if you're a quiet breather, now's the time to make lots of noise. So you're going to take a big breath in HA, let it out. And you want to let all that air out of your stomach. So you want to feel your lower back press down into the earth. So big breath in. HA, let it out. We're going to do one more time. Big breath in. And make as much noise as you need to. HA, let it out. So this is the breath you want to stay connected with when you're breathing. One of I'm just going to be up and down so you all can see me when I'm talking. One of the craziest things that happens when we work out is we stop breathing, right? Like our body just kind of tenses up, but breath is an important tool to make sure that you can send that oxygen to your muscles that's necessary. Okay, into our dead bugs we go. So you're gonna bring your knees to a tabletop position. You can relax your head on the floor. You want to feel a length in your spine from your tailbone all the way through to the crown of your head. And your legs are at 90 degrees, so knees over hips and then knees and ankles in alignment. We're going to take the palms of your hands and press into your quads, into the middle of your thighs. Now, I want you to take a breath in, and as you exhale out, close your rib cage. Imagine you have a corset on, so you're knitting your rib cage together. You're pressing your lower back down into the ground, and you're going to press your palms into your thighs as if you were smushing a bug. So you should start to feel very intensely tension in your core. I want you to pull your belly button to your spine and keep on breathing. All right, Mia, are you feeling this in your core?
Yes.
So that's just the start of the exercise.
Okay,
Here's the
wow.
exercise. You're going to extend your right arm and right leg in the opposite direction. So when you extend from the knee, you want to go straight out rather than down. You want to go extend straight out. So you're going to extend opposite arm and leg. As you do, continue to press into your left thigh and left hand. And then you're going to press back in, bringing your knee to your quad. And the entire time, make sure your lower back is pressed down into the floor. We're going to do just 5 on each side, starting with the right side. Mia, are you ready?
Yes. Yes, I'm ready.
Did I lose you? All right, here we go. 5 dead bugs on the right side. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale as you extend. Inhale, press in. Exhale. Inhale. Couple of things to keep in mind. Lower back is pressed down into the earth. You're pressing that left palm into your left thigh. We've got one more to go. Exhale. Inhale, press, and lower down. How we doing?
I'm good, but I think I did all those on one side versus alternating.
Nope, you were supposed to do it that way.
Okay.
Yep, that was perfect. So you always, whenever you're doing a dead bug exercise, you always want to do one side first. I usually suggest doing 15 reps on the right and then 15 on the left.
Okay.
So that you really can feel that core engagement. So now we're going to do the left side. You
Okay.
ready, Mia?
Yeah.
She's breathing heavy over there. All right. Press into those quads. I want you to give me a big press. Press your lower back down. And left arm and left leg extend. Here we go. Extend out. Exhale. Inhale, press in. Your core should be quivering. And you're pressing that right hand into the right thigh. We got 2 more reps to go. Exhale. And on this last one, we're going to press and hold. So press those palms into your thighs. And if you're feeling super strong, you can lift your shoulder blades off the floor. Your abdominals should be shaking like a leaf.
It definitely was.
3, 2, and lower down. Go ahead and give yourself a full body stretch. Woo! How was that? How was your dead bug?
It was interesting.
Where did you feel it most?
Definitely my core and some in my back.
Okay.
Maybe because I wasn't holding my stomach or just holding my core tight enough.
So proper core engagement is, you always want to make sure to envision a string going from your navel through your back, and you want to pull your belly button to your spine. Or another imagery that I like to use is you're going to be punched in the stomach. So if you're going to be punched in the stomach, you're going to brace your core, right?
Yeah.
To take that punch.
Punch. Okay.
So when your core is braced and tight, anytime you're doing anything where you're laying on the floor, you want to make sure there's no space between the floor and your back. So
Okay.
taking your tailbone underneath is going to give you that nice neutral spine, so that you're not arching your back, right? So we want to always keep the tension away from our lower back. We're going to move into some hip bridging now. So
Oh, I got these. Okay.
hip mobility, also strengthening your glutes. If you sit down a lot, this is a great exercise to do for strengthening your glutes, and then just stretching and getting some mobility through the hips. So we're gonna just place your palms down onto the floor. Your legs should be about hip distance apart and toes pointing forward. And as you tip your tailbone under, you're gonna knit your rib cage closed. We're gonna squeeze up through your glutes. So you wanna imagine you are cracking a walnut, or you're squeezing a dime with your butt cheeks. I hope I can say butt cheeks.
Yes, you're fine.
All right, so we're going to take 10 hip bridges. So on your inhale on the way up, we're going to hold for 1 at the top, and then lower down for 2 counts. So we're going to lift, squeeze up, hold, and then lower down. Now, as you lift, we're going to drive your weight into your heels. So you want to press down into your heels, squeeze, hold, and lower down. And we're going to add a little layer of progression. So if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you can lift your toes off the floor, so just your heels are on the ground. You keep on hip bridging, and you can try this variation on for size. This is going to target your hamstrings more.
I feel
so
it.
Strengthening the back of the legs as well. Are you feeling it, Mia?
Yes.
All right.
Even with my toes lifted.
Awesome. Let's go 2 more, and then we're going to hold it at the top. Nice inhale on the way up, exhale on the way down. And let's hold this last one at the top. We're going to relax those feet on the floor, readjust if we need to. Knees should be right over the ankle. Tailbone is rotated under, so there's no arch in your back. Rib cage is knitted closed. And we're going to take some pulses here. So I love to add pulses to the end of a squat or a hip bridge, because it just fires up the muscles a little bit more without using any weight. So we're going to pulse, little pulse, inch up, inch down. We're going to do 10 of these for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Everything should be burning from your hips down. 3, 2, and lower it down. Go ahead and bring your knees into your chest and stretch out your lower back and glutes. How we doing, Mia?
Good. The stretch feels a lot better.
I bet. So really important too, when you're stretching, you want to make sure you have moved your body before you do any static stretching. It's important to get your muscles warm before you try to stretch them.
Right.
So something to keep in mind. We talked briefly the other day about upper body, right? So we're gonna do something for upper body. It's actually a full body exercise, but you'll feel it in your upper body, and this is a great exercise if you're looking to build some upper body strength.
Okay.
It's called a beast or bear. I like to use the term beast, and we're just gonna hold this position for about 15 seconds to start, right? So it's all about starting small and building up. We're gonna place your palms on the ground and your shoulders right over your wrists. So anytime you're doing anything that requires you to be on your palms, you want to make sure your alignment is correct. So shoulders over wrists, knees are going to be right underneath your hips, and you're going to tuck your back toes. Your back is nice and flat, so you're going to take any arching out by tipping the tailbone under, and you want to take any roundness out by opening up your chest. So this is our prep for our beast hold. What we're going to do in your hold is simply hover your knees about 2 inches off the floor. So we're working every single muscle in your body. Your quads are going to fire, your glutes are going to squeeze, and I want you to really push the ground away as if you were giving it a high five, right? Rather than sinking down to the floor. All right, Mia, are you ready?
Yes. I think so.
We're going to hold for 15 seconds. In 3, 2, here we go. And you're going to gaze in front of your fingertips so that we're not shortening our chin and we're lengthening our spine. You're here for another 5, 4. If it's shaking, let it shake. 3, 2, and lower down. Relax your feet, your toes to the floor, and then stretch out. Take a little child's pose. This is Mia's favorite thing to do, is the stretching part. Right?
Yeah, I love this part.
Take a big breath in, big exhale, reach your fingertips in front of you, nice and long. Sit back into those heels. And we're gonna do this again. We're just gonna add 5 more seconds. So this is a great way to progress, is to add little increments of time rather than trying to hit a big goal like 1 minute or 30 seconds and then feeling defeated if you can't get there, right? So you amass success, then you level up. So we're gonna go for 20 seconds this time. You ready, Mia? Uh-oh, I lost her. There she goes.
I hear you. I'm ready.
All right, she's like, let's do this. 20 seconds. I've been ready. I was born ready. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Knees are hovered 2 inches off the floor. You're lengthening from the crown of your head all the way through to your tailbone. I want you to pull your belly button all the way up to your spine. So really focus on engaging your core, bracing like you're going to take a punch in the gut. You're here for 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Excellent. Go ahead and take that stretch, that child's pose. How you feeling?
Good. Accomplished.
All right, we're gonna get on our feet and I'm gonna show you a couple of different exercises that you can do anywhere that are really great for just kind of all moving in all planes of motion. So when we train, it's really important to remember that our body, we want to train in the way that we're going to move our body throughout the day, right? So if you know you're running after a child or twisting to pick something up, you want to train in the ways that we naturally move our body. So we're going to do some hip hinging, because this is something we do a lot, right? We reach down and hinge to pick things up.
Yeah.
And if we don't have proper form when we do that, we could throw our back out.
Yep.
All types of things. So you're gonna bring your legs. I'm gonna face this side so you can really see. So legs are gonna come hip distance apart. A lot of us think that our hips are really wide. So remember, hip distance, literally your toes should shoot down right from where your hips are. And when you're focusing on hinging, you really want to imagine, I like to imagine $200 bills, one at each hip crease. Okay. And you're going to fold over those $100 bills. So this is actually the same pattern we just did on the floor in the hip bridge, except for we're standing. So you're going to fold right over those hips, and on the way up, you're going to squeeze through your glutes and make sure you're not using your back to lift. As you hinge, I want you to imagine a string pulling you from the crown of your head and then one pulling you through your tailbone. So you're finding lots of length through your spine rather than rounding your back. Biggest mistake, I don't like to use the word mistake. The non-effective way to hip hinge is to do this, right? To round through your spine, you're putting a lot of tension on your back. Okay. So we're gonna bring your fingertips to the back of your head. Nice soft bend in your knees, lengthen through your spine. Feel that length from the crown of your head. And we're gonna take, this is called a good morning. So we're gonna fold at the hips, keeping a soft bend in your knees, and then squeeze up through your glutes. Let's do 5 more of these. So folding at the hips, Squeezing up through the glutes. And you really want to feel on the way up that press down through your heels. So you're activating from your glutes as you lift. Two more. Finding that length. So if you go any further and your shoulders start to round, you want to reduce your range of motion. And let's take our last one. And then we're going to get a little fancy here. So we're going to take a forward fold. So you're going to hinge. And we're going to take a little twist. So using your obliques, bringing your top elbow up to the ceiling, reach and twist, and come back to center. Reach and twist. This is really great to bring out your spine. So if you sit a lot all day, you have any pain in your upper back, this is a good way to release your T-spine. Let's take a couple more of those. Fold it over. Inhale, exhale, twist. Back to center. And twist. Back to center. Squeeze it up. And we're going to take one more. Fold it over. Inhale, exhale, twist and reach. I don't know about you, Mia, but I'm sweating over here.
I'm not quite sweating, but I'm almost there.
Okay. She's sparkling. Just glistening.
Glistening a little bit.
Shake it out. All right. So we're going to take a knee dominant movement now. It's called a squat. So I'm giving you some really basic foundational things. So when you go through and see all the fancy workouts that you may want to do, you just have some really good technique about it, right?
Okay.
So we're going to bring your legs now a little bit wider than hip distance. And something to keep in mind when you're squatting is you never want to dump. Yeah? That's really bad for your joints, whether you have an illness or not. You never want to dump. You want to be nice to your joints. So in a squat, you want to keep those toesies spread. I like to think of keeping my big toe, little toe, heel connected to the ground. And imagine you're going to sit back in a chair. So literally, you're going to take your tailbone and take it to whatever wall is behind you. You want to keep your shoulders in front of your hips rather than in alignment with your hips. So if I try to squat here, all I'm doing is dumping and putting a lot of pressure on my knees.
Okay.
Really taking that 45-degree angle forward where your shoulders are in front of your hips. Let's bring your arms out and we'll do a little activation with your arms. Working out does not have to be hard, right? It's very simple. Even something as extending your arms, retracting your shoulder blades, and pressing down on the air is working and firing up the muscles in your back and the muscles in your arms. So it's all about moving with intention, right? Rather than being fancy. Right. You can have a very simple workout that is super effective. All right, Mia, here we go. So retract those shoulders, close your rib cage, press down on the air below your arms, and we're gonna squat back. So sit it down, finding length, squeeze up through your glutes. So as you squat, I want you to imagine that string pulling you up from the crown of your head. You're reaching your fingertips forward, and you're squeezing up through your glutes. Another thing, we're just gonna keep squatting as I talk here, Mia, so have fun.
Okay.
Another thing, when you're working out, if you're following along and doing something virtually, do not compare your body to the person that is instructing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've probably been doing it for a while.
Yes.
They have a normal routine. They have good range of motion and flexibility. So you must listen to your body. If you start to feel your squat in your knees, reduce your range of motion. Check your core. If you're feeling it in your back, make sure your core is engaged. We're going to take two more and then we're going to hold that squat at the bottom.
Okay.
Exhale and hold. We're going to bring your fingertips to the back of your head. And remember those little pulses I told you about? Yeah, I like to add those in places like this. Okay. So you're going to take an inch up, inch down, a little tiny pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Big breath in, extend your arms out, retract your shoulders here for 3, 2, and 1. Did you feel that?
I definitely did. So let's talk about the importance of cooling down before you close out the workout. You don't want to just jump out of it. We want to make sure we stretch and cool down before we end the workout, right?
So I'll show you some tools that I use. But even without any tools, what you want to do is start to bring, you know, your heart rate down, start to get back into your breathing. This would be a great time to do some static stretching. So static stretching means you're basically getting into a position and holding it. For those of us that have tight hips, chronic hip issues, I'll show you one stretch that I use. I know with people with sickle cell predominantly, we deal with a lot of issues in our hips.
Yeah.
And I deal with a lot of issues with my hips to the point where I didn't know if they were intact or not. It was a lot of chronic pain, and so I had to be very intentional with doing hip flexor stretches, things that will release the tension in my hips. So I'll go through, let's go through one hip flexor stretch, and we can also do some breathing as we pull down here. So if you come half kneeling, if you don't have anything underneath your knee to support, then, you know, just listen, take notes, and wait for later. So Mia, if you don't have any support underneath your knee, then please don't break your kneecap. So basically in hip flexor stretch, you're gonna keep your hips square. We're gonna go 3 different degrees. So you're gonna stretch forward. So this is getting your hip flexor, your quad. If you've done any type of lower body movement, this is gonna be really great. If you're sitting a lot, this is gonna be great as well. And you can repeat that 5 times in that direction. Avoid bouncing, it confuses your muscles. So you wanna stretch, take a couple inhale, exhales, allow yourself to really feel the tension release. Move to 45-degree angle. So knee is at the hip, in alignment with the hip, 45 degrees. This is gonna get the groin area and also the hip flexor as well. So same pattern, you're gonna take a couple breaths as you move through your stretch, inhale and exhale, and then 90 degrees. So knee is directly in line with the hip. You wanna make sure your toes are in alignment with your knee. So knee is always tracking in alignment with your second and third toe. And then take that stretch as well. And you can repeat that 5 times through on one leg and then 5 times through on the other leg. Another great hip flexor stretch, just hip opener in general, is figure 4. You can do this laying down or seated. I'll actually show you seated because it is, it's a little safer on your body. Seated, you have a little bit more control. Okay. And if you're sitting down for work, this is something you can do throughout the day. You simply cross your leg over, make sure your ankle is on the opposite side of your knee, right? So we're not putting tension on the ankle. And your legs are in a figure 4, so you can do this on your back. Your legs will come to a figure 4. And if you're seated, you're just gonna let your head and neck hang, maybe shake out the head and neck, let go of any tension. If you like to deepen the stretch, you can gently press your knee, the inner thigh, and down towards the ground. If you're laying down, you would grab behind your hamstring, grab your hamstring or your shin to do the same stretch. But our hips are where we hold a lot of tension. So it's really, really important to make sure that we're releasing that tension on a daily basis. You know, we live very emotional lives as human beings, and that's really where we take all of our emotions, is in our hips. This is called a foam roller. If you are in a space where you're ready to invest into your health and wellness, this is something that's really good. What it does is, imagine like your body's like pizza dough and you have knots. So the foam roller, it takes the knots, your muscle spindles, which should be flat, and it flattens them. So imagine if you were like kneading out dough, that's exactly what the foam roller does. So this is a great tool. This is what I would recommend doing before your workouts and after your workouts, rather than just doing static stretching. I hope that helped. Do you have any questions?
It absolutely helped. I'm definitely going to take a lot of these moves with me. Some of them I was familiar with in my yoga class and at the gym that I go to, but some of them were new for me, so I'll definitely be trying them at home myself. So thank you so Candice. I really enjoyed it, even though I just glistened a little bit, but it jump started some stuff. So this week,
my intention was not to kill you, so
we did great. Then we did awesome. I want to thank our sponsors really quick. Mr. Dan Moore with the Apex Museum, so much for everything you've done. Miss Tanya Robinson with Kids Stop Daycare and Learning Center and the Black Professional Network. Did you have any questions, Jennifer? Are you still
No, I
there?
didn't have any questions. I just made a notation so I can do these things post surgery. And it was so wonderful meeting you, Candice. Thank you so much for all the tips that you've given us tonight. And I know that some people are going to definitely benefit from all the gems that you dropped and all the life hacks that you shared with us.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I am on Instagram. This is my place where I add value to the world. So if you have any type of support you need, please feel free to reach out via Instagram. My handle is I am Candice Heather. That's CandyceHeather. And I really use that platform to do things like this, to show simple workouts, give life hacks, and really, mindset, how to move your body and how to nourish your body. So thank you all so much for allowing me to add value to your audience. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to helping serve your community in the future as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I hope what Candace shared was really, really helpful for you. So please get in contact with her if you need some additional support. And we will see you back in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Night.